If you are in your 40s and over and have been thinking about going on a plant-based lifestyle or even considering adding more plant-based foods into your existing diet, then this video is for you. Stay tuned until later in this video because I will share one of my most important tips that you can use when transitioning over to a plant-based lifestyle to being successful. If you're a returning subscriber to this channel, then I just want to say thank you. And if you're new, welcome. Hi, I'm Blaze, and I help men and women 40 and over to crush it in a plant-based lifestyle by keeping it simple with plant-based foods. In today's video, I am sharing some of my personal experiences and challenges that I went through in transitioning from a carnivore into a plant-based lifestyle. This video is a little bit more personal than some of my other videos. I'm going to share my story and how I got started on my plant-based journey. So it all started about 8 years ago. And at that time, I was kind of at a crossroads in my life. I was going through a big shift to where I was starting a new chapter. And I wanted to start fresh and new again. And I took my time transitioning into plant-based. That wasn't even my goal in the beginning. Because I live in Hawaii, and it's very tropical here and it's really easy to get fresh foods here. You know, there's like fruits and vegetables. They're growing like everywhere, literally. I grew up as a carnivore throughout most of my life. About 8 years ago, I started to just focus on becoming healthier. So I basically started eating more plant-based fresh foods that was all around me all the time anyway. So I would be going out into the yard, juicing oranges more often, drinking fresh orange juice, simple things like this. I started gardening, growing fresh lettuce and sweet potatoes and ginger and turmeric and all this stuff. It was really slow at the beginning, but I just took my time, and as time went on, over a stretch of 5 years. So out of the 8 years, the first 5, I was transitioning off of meat to where I first started cutting out pork and then beef. And then I was with like chicken and fish, which is really common for people to transition off of the heavier meats into the lighter meats. So I was doing chicken and fish for like a few years, and then I let go of chicken. So because I live in Hawaii, we got a lot of fresh fish here, which is pretty amazing, honestly. You can always eat fresh sashimi, fresh sushis, fresh poke. So I made it all the way down to just eating fish. And then as time went on, I was just naturally starting to eat less fish and less fish, up to a point to where I was only eating fresh fish once every 6 months. When I got to that point, then at that time I was ready to test myself to be like, you know what, I'm going to challenge myself to go the next year just eating plant-based foods. So at that point, I felt pretty comfortable enough to just going strictly plant-based, because sometimes there's like beliefs in your head, and just growing up being a carnivore all the time, it can be quite a bit of a challenge to overcome some of these beliefs. And at that point, when I got to just eating fresh fish at like once every 6 months, I knew I was ready to just transition off of meat. So that's what I did. Now I'm about 2.5 years in of just eating plant-based foods. So my journey has been 8 years long. The first 5 was just transitioning off of meats, and then this past 2.5, almost 3, has been just strictly plant-based foods. Okay, so my journey might be completely different than yours. And if you are strong enough to just be like, I can just jump in, all in, right away, then go for it. Because some people do end up pulling that off. I took my own route, which was, I'll just do it at my own pace, because everybody is custom. So what you gotta realize is, like, you don't need a time frame of like, oh, I gotta do it by next month, next year, 5 years from now even. But one of the most important things, which I'll share later in this video, is one of the keys to being successful when transitioning into a plant-based lifestyle. So number 1 is, if you've been wanting to start going fully plant-based or even adding more plant-based foods into your life, then I recommend not jumping fully into a plant-based lifestyle right away. So if you've been eating meat all your life up until now and you're 40 and over, to just jump into a plant-based lifestyle all of a sudden, most people will go into shock, or their belief systems will not be able to handle such a change all of a suddenly. I see this all the time with people wanting to do different diets, where instead of just dipping their toe in and getting a sample of it, they just jump all in right away. And then the change is such a shock to them that they don't end up pulling through, right? Because it's just too much for their system to even handle a lot of the times. So next, when transitioning, just realize that when you're with, say, friends or family or whoever, you're gonna kind of stand out, especially if you're eating, say, like a fully plant-based meal. Because a lot of restaurants now, they're starting to serve plant-based meals, like vegan meals and vegetarian meals and stuff. So, you know, just be prepared to be getting certain questions from your friends and family. You know, sometimes you make them feel uncomfortable when you're ordering vegan pizza, or they got plant-based pastas. They got some amazing salads these days filled with a bunch of flavors and vegetables, and even like cashews and stuff they put into some of these salads. Way better than your typical boring salad that you see at a lot of the restaurants with just plain lettuce and tomato and maybe a generic dressing in there. Some of the foods these days are absolutely mind-blowing in the plant-based category. Okay, there is like amazing foods coming out every single day that blow my mind sometimes when I see the amount of creativity coming out in the plant-based ecosphere. So be prepared to get a little bit uncomfortable if you're that kind of person, which I know for me, it kind of was when I first started doing fully plant-based and not giving in to any meat. Naturally, people are going to be questioning you about, you know, like what you're doing now. Is this some new fad or diet or whatever? And what you have to realize is that you have to be serious about your health. And let me tell you, the benefits of going plant-based, personal in my own experience, has been absolutely phenomenal. Like, I cannot explain to you how much energy I have these days. First of all, I'm over 40 and I feel like I'm 18. I'm not even kidding you. This is the most energy I've ever had in my life. I'm able to hike miles, come back home, and I still feel energized. This is no joke. This is why I'm so passionate about it. And this is why I also love helping others too, who have been thinking about transitioning into a plant-based lifestyle. Nothing is set in stone, just remember that. So it doesn't mean that you have to be plant-based for the rest of your life, you know. Things can change, you can evolve, allow yourself that space. And if one day you're like, hey, I want to go back to eating carnivore again, then it's okay. Nothing is set in stone. So don't believe a lot of these other gurus or whoever they are claiming that there's one way, one path, and it always has to be that path. No. The most important thing is sustainability and the treatment and kindness of animals also, right? Because we all know that a lot of these slaughterhouses and stuff, they're just not treating the animals kindly. You must understand that energy isn't destroyed. It is definitely transferred into these animals that are suffering and are in fear because they're going to get slaughtered. So all that energy is going straight into the meat. This is one of the key points for me that helped me to transition off of meat. Okay, if you're getting your meat sustainably from maybe like a small farmer who raises their animals kindly, out in grass-fed, things like that, that is awesome. That is way better than supporting some of these huge corporations that only put these animals through suffering. So there's a few important things that helped me transitioning into a plant-based lifestyle. And this was an important one right here, was the treatment of animals at a lot of these huge farms and stuff that are run by corporations, right? You can't trust them. Okay, back on subject. No drifting off on a tangent. Let's stay on point. I got my little notepad here that I wrote some notes on, so. So again, to just recap, just be prepared to stand out with friends and family and stuff. If no one's plant-based or vegan in your life, then you're kind of gonna like stand out, right? And in the beginning, you might not feel too confident because you're just starting something new, but hang in there. Do not give up, okay? And do not give in a lot. Like, I get it, you know, in the beginning, it might be kind of challenging, and then you give in here, you give in there. Do not give in every single time, okay? In the beginning, if you give in once or twice, don't beat yourself up, okay? But the thing is consistency and having a higher vision of why you're doing this. You have to just stick with it, be consistent, no matter what anybody says, because people can be rude sometimes and they might just tell you, do not be fazed by people like this, because sometimes family or even friends really close to you can say something hurtful. Maybe they don't even mean it, but it affects you, right? So again, I will share one of the most important things. So just stick with it, be consistent, and it'll end up paying off more than you can ever imagine. Leave a comment down below and let me know what is your greatest challenge when transitioning into a plant-based lifestyle or even considering starting a plant-based lifestyle. What are the biggest challenges that you face? I am curious to know, so leave a comment down below and I will see how I can help you. And another great strategy to eating more plant-based foods is just by starting your own garden. And if you haven't seen my other videos where I created a 7-part series of how to grow your own food at home on a budget, then I'll leave a link above and down in the description box. And this will help you greatly in transitioning into a plant-based lifestyle. Now for the bonus key tip that I mentioned earlier. And this is one of the most important things that you can do in your journey. And it's this, knowing your why. And it's knowing your why. Why are you wanting to go plant-based or adding more plant-based foods into your life? Is it because of your health? Is it to lose weight? Is it to have more energy? Are you dealing with gut issues and having a harder time to digest heavier foods? Because that's one important reason why people start adding more plant-based foods into their diet. They find themselves having heartburn, having a harder time to digest the heavier foods. When you go plant-based, your body can digest foods quite easily. I can say this from personal experience. Most of the foods that I eat, I digest them with ease. Whatever your reason is for wanting to go plant-based or adding more healthier foods into your life, don't wait. Start today, even if it's baby steps. Knowing your why is the most important thing when you start this journey. Write down on a piece of paper 5 important reasons why you want to go plant-based. Envision yourself 10 years from now, your ideal self, your most ideal person. So if you was a plant-based and you was at your absolute healthiest, what would you want to see on that list of 5 things? Would it be 1, you could write perfect health, more energy than I know what to do with. 3, you could write have the body I always wanted. 4, you could write sleeping the best I ever have in my life. You get the point. Whatever your 5 ideal goals are, write them down on a piece of paper and keep that paper next to you and memorize it until it just becomes you. So whenever you're faced with these challenges of maybe your friends and family, whoever it is, questioning you why you're eating this way and all this stuff, you know your why in and out without a doubt. This is absolutely important and absolutely crucial to success in transitioning. Because if you know your why, then you know where you're headed. So apply that important key step and see how that works for you, because at least you will have a lighthouse guiding you in your journey. So again, in the end, I went fully plant-based at the age of 39, which is a couple years ago now. So if I can do it, you definitely can. Don't think it's too late or any of this stuff. That's complete nonsense. Don't believe anybody else, especially if they're discouraging you or not being kind to you on your journey of going on the plant-based lifestyle. You can do it. Believe in yourself. If I can do it, you can do it also. Be consistent. Know your why, and everything will work out exactly how it's supposed to. Stay tuned, because in my next video, I'm going to be talking about the one and greatest myth of all times when switching over into a plant-based lifestyle. And you will not escape this question when people see you looking better, healthier, more beautiful skin, nicer hair, having more energy and vitality than ever before. Someone out there will always ask you this one question. And the question usually goes like, where do you get your blank from? If you already know that question, then leave a comment down below and fill in that blank. We're going to be squashing that myth like a tin can. And I will show you how to answer that question with complete confidence when it comes around. Because believe me, you'll get it from somebody out there. If you're interested in some of the camera gear that I use in filming my videos, like my wireless mic and even my phone that is filming this video right now and giving it this cool effect with the blurred background, then I'll leave links down in the description box below on a lot of the camera gear that I use in filming my videos, even the video editing software that I use. If you love gardening and love growing your own food and even learning how to preserve food, then watch this video right here where I show you 5 proven methods on how you can preserve food in 2024. Let's get it.